Hello, welcome to OpenRose, an open source and free requirements management application. You can find more information about OpenRose at github.com/openrose. Today we are going to talk about parking lot. Parking lot is a concept that allows users to park their requirements in a separate area within the project. To see this in action, let's go into project list, and I'm going to use this demo project called as Barclays Tariff for Personal Customer. And when I open this particular project in tree view, then we can see that we have this parking lot as a item type. Parking lot is always there in every project. It is a system item type. And to demonstrate that, let me just go over to project and create a new project. Just call it as dummy project with the status of new and dummy as my description. When I create this project, the first thing it does is it creates parking lot as an item type. Now I cannot actually modify parking lot, i.e. I can't update the name, the status, the description and save it. It's just simply there as a system item type. I can definitely create new item underneath if required. I can create hierarchy of items or siblings or another further hierarchy or further hierarchy. All this is possible. You can create as many items because it's a item type which is called parking lot. It's very similar to a custom item type or a user-defined item type, but it is supposed to be always there in every project to allow people to park something on the side. With that said, let me just go back to dummy project and then simply go into the project details view and delete that project as we don't need it anymore. All those items which we just created actually goes into orphaned items list, which I will clear out later on. So let's go back to Barclays project here, expand everything, and what I have done is I've created one demo requirement in the parking lot. This particular document is a kind of public document which is available on Barclays website, but this requirement here, which is Barclays mortgage arrangement fees, is the one that I just came up with as potentially something that is perhaps missing from that document. So the idea here is to first capture something in the parking lot, obviously, and then use that particular requirement against existing requirement, and then perhaps later move that requirement into its correct location. Now, a requirement here is functioning exactly like how the requirement here would function. So a requirement that is allocated to a custom user-defined item type has the same behavior. It's exactly the same in the parking lot as well. So you should be able to see the items details here. You can update those items. You can create traceability. You can see the change history as well. So what I have done is these Barclays mortgage arrangement fees has two points here, which is to give a discount to students and premier customers when it comes to mortgage arrangement fees. And then we also have borrowing from us as a particular section where we have student editions and premier customer account as different account types. Mortgage is nothing but borrowing from Barclays, and so we just need to logically link the Barclays mortgage arrangement fees over to student editions and premier banking here. So what I've done is I've just gone to the traceability and I've created those two child traces. I can jump to one of those records here, and you can see now I'm looking at Premier customer account details within the borrowing from us. And exactly the same way we have the connection back over to Barclays mortgage arrangement fees, which is actually sitting inside parking lot at the moment. So that's the idea, that you have a synergistic integration or a link over to other items which are actually assigned to proper item types while you are developing new requirements in the parking lot. It's not fully defined, it's still not fully assigned to the project, but it's something to be considered in the future for implementing the same. Okay, so with this, I just want to also show that once this item is finalized and we are ready to move it out of parking lot, then we can go over and decide where it should go in the structure. And considering that I would like to put mortgage arrangement fees under borrowing from us, but not under account type, but instead in between arranging overdraft charges and how does our overdraft compare. Let's consider that I want to insert the mortgage arrangement in between these two records. Then what I can do is I can go to move an item between these two items. So let's pick up the ID of the source item, which is nothing but the parking lot item. Then open move item between, which is an option. So I'm just going to control click here. It will open a new window here, and I'm just going to pass in the source ID, which is nothing but Barclays mortgage arrangement fees. And then I'm going to move between these two. So if I just simply pick up the ID for the first item out of these two items, which is where I want to move, then it should pick up automatically the ID of the second item as well, because we are moving in between these two records. So let me just click on move. It will be successfully moved over to that location. And when I refresh my view, then I should be able to see that from parking lot, the mortgage arrangement fees has gone over to borrowing from us, and it's now sitting in between these two items. Currently, we don't have drag and drop feature enabled or implemented in the system, but we may look into it in the future. Right now, to move items, you can use these options available here. Using these options, you can actually move item across multiple different projects as well. Let's move it back to parking lot. So I'm just going to pick up the ID, and instead of move between, I'm going to move under, because I want to move it under an item type. So it's the parking lot. Let's pick up the ID of the parking lot and then move it back under the parking lot. Then refresh the screen, and then we should be seeing that item back into parking lot. But when you do this move, the traceability, the change history, they just remains in place to allow you to continue working on the item. So I still have the traceability to items which are actually inside the proper place within my project structure. One more thing I wanted to show is that when you look at the parking lot item, you can still use this as part of your baselining. Baselining is nothing but a snapshot that you take on a project or for an item type. So I can go ahead in the baseline, and when I create the baseline by project, which means I'm taking the snapshot of all these data, or if I create a baseline for item type, which could be one of these item type within the project, then it creates a snapshot of that particular item type data. We will talk about the baselining and snapshots later in future videos, but today I just wanted to show you that taking the baseline also allows you to take baseline of your parking lot items. So you can see what were your parking lot items in the past, that can help uh, in some auditing purpose or in some sort of evaluation of how the requirements in your project has gone from simple defined and parked around items over to the actual project items. So evolution of your project can also be captured as part of the baselining, and snapshot is the fundamental aspect of how we look at parking lot. One thing I wanted to also specify that there's a possibility to move the item type as well. So you can completely move an item type to a completely different project or within the project. That is absolutely supported. But what is not supported is to take a parking lot item type for a given project and move it to another project. This is because every project has the system parking lot item type, and the idea of parking lot is to put something on the side within the project and not really carry that into another project. You can certainly take an item from parking lot and move it to another project, but parking lot itself, which is a system item type, you cannot move it to another project. That said, if I don't want to see parking lot as the first item type, then I can simply go over to my project in the details view. This is, let me just do it here actually. Let me just do it over here. So when I go into a project in the details view, then I can look at all my item types and I can just simply move parking lot downwards right at the bottom to rearrange my project structure and have different item types laid out in different order. Once parking lot is at the bottom, then I can simply go back to my project's tree view, and now we can see that the parking lot is at the bottom. So you can move parking lot within the project, but you cannot move it outside of the project. Finally, if you want to know more about parking lot and find information about the same in our documentation, then please go to github.com, our OpenRose repository, and there you can search for parking lot within the repository. When you look at our results for the wiki pages, then you can find more information about how we implement parking lot and what are the concepts behind it, and how to move items and item types and certain constraints over parking lot. All those informations can be found in our documentation at github.com/openrose. With that, I would like to conclude this video and thank you so much for seeing this and participating in using perhaps OpenRose for your project and for your initiatives. Thanks once again and have a great day.